How you doing, family? I'm doing this movie to kind of recap and talk to you about the basics. I'm going to recap again the basics. Who are you? Who is God? Why do we exist? And what's the purpose? Now, the baseline, what I've always said is God is a machine that has no feelings, no emotions, and is focused on one thing and one thing only: its own existence, which is existence as we know it. I've since learned, since reading two books, I read two books. First one was How to Win the Lottery with the Laws of Attraction. And believe it or not, I went into that book wanting to hit the lottery and discovered, lo and behold, he's right in the pocket with what I wrote, The Anatomy of Existence. And my purpose, the purpose for my pamphlet, is to do two things. Three things, actually. One, explain the mechanics of this whole existence. And the cliff note is, I've learned in this book, and I'm going to add this into my definition of who is God and what is God. God is not a who, God is a what. God is both the microcosmic spirit and the macrocosmic spirit. The totality is God. The macrocosmic spirit that I've been calling God is kind of a misnomer, I know now. The actual definition of what the macrocosmic spirit is the subconscious mind. It is that part of God that actually creates stuff. To show you how powerful you are as a microcosmic being, we don't know when the initial spark was, the initial thought that initiated creation. But where we are, we're going to go from where we are right now. Where we are right now, that which underlies and actually creates is you. You were born with the power to create everything in this existence that is related to you and your environment and your world. Whether you know it or not, it's irrelevant. The machine pays attention to what you think and what you combine to feel, and what you think, feel, and ultimately believe. And you're only going to really feel what you believe, even if it's a fear. Get to that one. Put your head around that. You're going to believe probably a fear faster than you will believe something good or something happy, which is the secret to getting anything you want in existence. You have to believe you already have it. And that's a good thing. We are not taught to believe good stuff. No, no. We're taught to be afraid. And it starts with Christianity. Sorry, folks, I gotta hit you. I gotta pull the pin and I gotta drop this in your head. It starts with religions. Now, I don't mean to pick on Christianity. I was just born a Christian, Baptist. So I start from where I'm born. We're okay. And the bottom line is, You were told a lie from the day you walked into the building. The biggest lie of them all is that God is somewhere else in heaven and Satan is in hell. And then in the next breath they tell you God is omnipresent, omnipotent, which means he's omnipresent, means he's everywhere all the time at the same time. So how can God be up in heaven and Satan be in hell? You see the contradiction? See, you can't even lie about God. That's how powerful it is. I'm not even gonna go with that gender crap. That's another lie. God is some man. Are you kidding me? Men can't even have babies. How the hell can men be a god? Stop that. See, this is the kind of foolishness. This is why I'm doing these movies. To dispel that foolishness. If you don't want to believe me, go on to church. Keep giving your money to TD Jakes and all these rip-off con men. Go ahead. Keep going. My job is to make sure that you get the power to get your life together and make yourself and your family successful. I want you to have money, I want you to have wealth, and I want you to have health, and I want you to have happiness. We're going to move away from all this crap that for decades, hundreds of years, people have been believing this foolishness, this stupidity, to the point where that's why we got stuck with that jackass in the White House. Because we believe in this stupidity. You're born sucking up, and they're brainwashing you from day one. And it's not your fault. But I'm telling you the deal now. If you turn around and continue down that path, that's on you. And that's another thing about how this thing works. You can't blame God for nothing. Everything that go wrong, that's on you. Whether you know it or not. The machine doesn't care if you learned it or not. All the machine hears and feels, it moves on what it feels and it gets from you in terms of your feelings and what you believe. Period. Doesn't care. Job is that don't care. Don't have emotions. You can forget that. At any kind of game you want to play, vengeance and get mad, you are barking up the wrong tree. Omnipotent, omnipresent, don't care. It's not personal. It's not picking on you. Got a job to do. It's doing its job. So God is actually you and the subconscious. That machine that creates everything is the most powerful part, but it only acts on what you, the beliefs and the thoughts and the feelings you give it. Get to that. Now that, you want to talk about power? That's power, baby. The machine got power, but it's a machine. It cannot make any decisions. Only decisions it makes is based on what you feel and what you keep repeatedly saying and what you feel in your marrow, what you believe. And that belief is codified and backed up by emotions, feelings. We don't have feelings for nothing. God don't make mistakes. We fail to interpret the will and the mechanics of how this all works. And that's why I'm doing these movies. We're going to get this right, folks. We're going to put this to bed right now. This is over. 2000, 21st century, no more BS and no more taking nonsense and brainwashing. Dumb days is over. This generation that's going to be born now, this is going to be free for you on YouTube. Now, all of you people who want to continue to go down that path of fear and terror that comes from the Christian church, the terror, you worried about going to hell, and that's why you're going to do things. No. Do things because they are right. It's called righteousness. That's what I'm teaching. Do things because it's right. Do things because you have the power, whether you like it or not, whether you get it right or not. You are always making a decision, and you're creating either good for yourself or you creating resistance for yourself. I'm not even going to call it bad. It's not about good or bad. It just is. The universal spirit, or the subconscious, that the subconscious machine that creates everything that you see before you right now. Everything that you, every physical expression, everything you see physically in your world comes from thought. And I done been there, done that, and I'm giving you the cliff note. Now, you can go ahead and validate everything I'm saying to you, but I'm gonna give you validation in what these folks that books I'm reading. I just read this book. Both these books barely 50 pages long. That's the beauty of this whole thing. I'm not the only one giving cliff notes. These folks are giving cliff notes too, because they're all fed up. And one of the guys who wrote this book, Neville Goddard, the guy is dead. He's been dead since 1972. 72, he's been dead. This is 2000 and almost 20. The man's been damn near dead 50 years. Y'all get to this. This is serious business. How could I come up with the same conclusions and I don't even know this guy? You know, that's what I'm telling you. This is how you know. This is the indication of how you know when you're getting real truth. People who don't know each other are saying the same stuff, folks. You know why? It's called immutable truth. The truth is immutable. It cannot be changed. These are rules, and that's what I'm teaching. That when I say the anatomy of existence, the name of my book is The Anatomy of Existence and the Power of Thought and Belief. And now I have to add in, after reading these two books, the biggest, most important thing is feeling. That's how you know you believe what you're thinking. Thoughts, feelings, belief. You can anybody can have a thought. Thought by themselves have no power. It must be backed by amperage, and that's feeling. Once you get thought, voltage, amperage, feeling, then these two things create belief. And once you get to the believing stage, folks, you'll know you're at the believing stage, because you know why? You'll start feeling it. See, feeling, now I've learned, these two brothers right here have taught me that. Thought is just voltage. Feelings is amperage. It gets things moving to the point where now you believe it. Okay? And my electrical definition is a little off on this one right here, but this is power. Okay? This is what makes amperage is going to put fire to your backside, but the ultimate thing is these two, belief and feeling. These are the two. Thoughts is, everything is a thought. It has to start here. But then you got the feelings, and then you got the belief. So that's why the name of my book is The Anatomy of Existence. I'm just telling you the components. I'm telling you about God, which is combined, a combination of you, the microcosmic being, and the subconscious, which, you know, I've been calling it the macrocosmic being, but now these two books have taught me that's the subconscious. And together, the Holy Trinity make up God. So you, subconscious, together make up the three. So that's the Holy Trinity. And look, you see how you see this? You see the dualities, but there's always two. Conscious, that's you, the microcosmic being. Conscious. Subconscious, there's the two. Up, down, two. Left, right, two. Why? Balance. It's all about balance. Good, bad. Why? Balance. You gotta balance it off. Bad is ignorance. Good is knowledge. Okay? Bad is lies. People telling you things they know is a lie. They know it's not true. That's bad because it's a lie. Now, you are going to be born with a whole bunch of lies because people are going to be totally ignorant. Now, you see, that's not, there's different kind of lies, and I don't want to get into all that. But intentional lies is the worst kind. Those are the ones that people know they're telling you a lie. They know they're brainwashing. They know they're doing it in order to manipulate you and get something from you or get you to buy into some bullshit that, excuse my French, that they're running. Okay? That's bad. Good is what I'm doing. Knowledge. Don't care who you are. Race don't even exist. That's another mind game that they ran. They ran on you from birth. Race. And one race. And anybody who got half of a brain cell, one half of a brain cell in your body, you will know there's only one human race. And you know this. I knew this when I was just a little itty bitty 8-9-year-old. I knew this. I said, this is weird. Why people are color and stuff? I knew something was wrong, but everybody was going along with it. Everybody was going off the cliff. I said, oh, well, everybody else doing it. I'm an ignorant 8-year-old kid. I don't know. I just knew in my spine, I knew something was wrong. Couldn't put my finger on it yet. Didn't have enough knowledge yet. But I knew something was wrong. And you do too. You know it. You know why? Because in your essence, where you come from, is your spirit, is that righteous spirit. You were born righteous, but we were born ignorant. And that's a part of the journey. So that's the other component that I have to talk about. Okay, I gave you God, which is the conscious mind, you, the microcosmic being, and the subconscious mind, the macrocosmic being, together make up God. Forget about talking to God and all that nonsense. Forget that. You don't need to talk to God. You want to talk to God, get in the mirror and talk to your vehicle. And another thing, let's break this down. This thing right here, this thing with the eyeballs and the mouth and the nose and all this stuff and these ears and whatnot, that's not who you are. That's not the microcosmic being. This is the vessel, or what I call the vehicle, that carries the microcosmic spirit. And like leaves on a tree, vessels come and they go. But the microcosmic spirit grows on. I didn't say goes on. I said grows, Grows, on. I couldn't quite get that for years, but now I got it. I got it. I couldn't understand why some people get it and some people don't. And you know what I figured out? Everybody's at a different spiritual level. I could say God is omnipotent and omnipresent to 100 people, and maybe 80 of them will really get it. And I'm optimistic. I believe most people get it. I say it's probably closer to 90. Most people get it. You get it. That's why I'm talking to you. Or you wouldn't even still be listening if you didn't get it. You got it. Okay? So those are the components. God is a combination, microcosmic spirit, macrocosmic subconscious machine that creates everything. Where does it exist? Within you. It's within you. This thing that you walking around in, some, one show they call it a meat suit, but it's right. It's a bioelectric mechanical vessel that is based on the essential essence of all matter is bioelectrical if it's a body, but it's electromagnetic in general. That's the way the foundation of everything that exists before you is electromagnetic, because you get it. Every physical thing that you see, even air, because some fumes that are, you can see them, but they're like a smoke. You can't really touch them, but that's electromagnetic. Those are chemicals. And if you get them down to their microscopic level, you'll see that there is electromagnetic molecules so small that they just form a gas. Some are bigger and they form liquid. Some are bigger and slower moving and they form levels of solid. Just take a basic chemistry, a basic science class, and you're going to validate all of this. As above, so below. That's the rule. And as above is dimensions of size upward and dimensions of size downward. Two. It's always the law of duality. Upwards and downward dimensions. And everything is cyclic. It's like a sine. And when I was in took basic electric and advanced electrical exponential math and basic advanced what they call in college, it was electric 1 or electric 2. But by the time you get to electric 2, you're doing exponential math. You need exponential math because the molecules of the electrons are so small and there's so many of them. You have to talk to the billionth, to the millionth, and to the billionth, and to the trillionth. And you have to use exponents to talk about things that small. As you get higher with the numbers, you're getting smaller, basically. And in order to explain the movement and the actions of these microscopic and a nanite below nanite level, you have to talk math. It's the only universal language that goes all over the place. Everywhere is just math. So that's why math is very important to understand. You don't have to know it all, but you have to understand the basic concept of how math works, how it describes size in a physical level. And it only, can cover, your brain can only handle but so much physically, but then spiritually you can handle it all, because spiritually you're connected to the universal spirit, which is omnipotent. Omnipotent means you know everything all the time. That's why we created this microcosmic being. Okay? God and the subconscious mind created, which is still us, created this microcosmic being because it was tired. I believe, this is my concept, was fed up with knowing everything. Once you know everything and you are everywhere all the time, there's nothing to do. It's very boring, and and I don't do boring. I don't even use, that's not even in my vocabulary. But the only time I will honestly talk about that and to try to explain my concept of God and the motivation for why we were created, why we created ourselves as microcosmic expressions of the totality, which is the two machines, the subconscious mind and God itself, the overall entity, which is God. Okay, but I don't get hung up on God. Okay, you don't have to, why would you get hung up on yourself? Once you get your head around most of this stuff, you stop wasting mental energy on things that you already are. You dig? Keep your energy focused. Save, reserve your energy for focusing on thought control. Okay? And emotions and everything will come with controlling your thoughts. Because once you, and this is the next thing we gotta talk about. I talked about the vehicle. Okay, I talked about the microcosmic spirit that is within the vehicle, that is you, that has received the name, and when I was born in this lifetime, and you have infinite lifetimes because you are an infinite being. You can't be separated from that. That's another thing. You cannot be separated from what you are. Ever. Get your head around that. You can never be separated from what you are. Ever. Okay? Soon as this vehicle fails, like that, you're thrust right into another one. And I don't know if you've noticed, but when God do stuff, it's no joke. When we do stuff, unlimited power, infinite potential, omnipotent, can do everything and is already everywhere at the same time. Get your head, get your microcosmic brain, this brain that goes with this vehicle right here, it has certain limitations because it's a finite. Here we go. Got to teach about two more dualities. You have infinite, which is your spirit, your microcosmic spirit that's riding in this body. Here's another duality. Your infinite spirit is riding in a finite body. And this is the mechanism, and this is the anatomy of your very own vehicle, and relation to this vehicle and your microcosmic spirit that is riding in this vehicle, that you have got to understand. Okay? All of us are the same. That microcosmic spirit that it rides in me is the same one that rides in you. There is no, and you can never ever separate yourself from that. The reason you don't feel it, and you probably find it extremely hard to believe, is from birth they made sure they confused the living hell out you. Because baby, once you tap into this and you realize your power, they call it being self-actualized. Once you realize who you are and the power you have to create throughout this entire existence, oh, you're a monster. You cannot be controlled. They don't want you to be independent. Are you crazy? Even the word independent says not dependent. And the word individual means you could never be divided from self. So even in the word, look it up. If you put in front of any word, it means not. Independent means not dependent, right? If you're an independent person, it means you're not dependent. INDEPEN, right? ENJ. You're not dependent, right? Individual mean you cannot be divided. And all of this stuff is right in front of your face. If you, well, at least with the English language, I don't know about other languages, but what I love about the English language, it is, for me, because I was born speaking this language, so for me, it's like crystal clear. Okay? And that's why I beg you young people, get into vocabulary. Get the study of the written word is called semantics. It's an actual subject in school. Can you believe that? I never knew that until I saw a movie one day. Somebody said, oh, I got a degree in semantics. Michael Douglas or one of these actors. And that's what I love about, at least You know, in some of the movies and stuff, people are dropping science on you. You know, it's dropping seeds, dropping keys. This stuff has been out here for hundreds of years. Jesus Christ was nothing but a prophet, somebody running around teaching this stuff, and he got too close. He was opening, he was making too many people independent. They said, oh no, we got to take you out. You can't, we won't be able to control people. You start unleashing and releasing and making them like Neo in the movie Matrix. Oh, you don't want to, we don't want you to start freeing, taking people out of the Matrix. No, 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 because Matrix is control. And it's not about evil. It's about is. The Matrix is the Matrix. And those who are aware and free are just the ones who are aware and free. That's just how it go. And you got to strike a balance. If you notice in the end of the movie, they never they never wiped out the Matrix. And the Matrix never wiped out them because the Matrix needed them and they needed the Matrix. It's called balance, folks. We don't want this. You could never get rid of what you call bad because it's about, it has to be there. So I don't want to get into all that, but trust me, it has to be there because it's a part of existence. And if you are a part of existence as a microcosmic spiritual being, then so is that other thing. Everything in existence is a part of God. You can't, that's why I hesitate to move away from bad. I just say that's not what I'm into. I'm not into that. See? And getting a little off topic here because this is deep stuff and the insanity has been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. And if you go back to the Egyptian times, it was just as insane back then too. I don't care if they were black, they were still keeping people ignorant. Let's get rid of this white black stuff. That's like a con inside of a con inside of a con. It's one of them kabuki dolls. Every time you take one out, you got another one in there. You take that out, you got another one in there. This has been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. Widespread mass hysteria and mass ignorance. That's why you got that jackass in the White House right now. You know, because people are so blind, deaf, and dumb. So my job is to wake up all of you who want to know the truth. Okay? So the heaven and hell stuff, another kabuki doll inside of another kabuki doll. They got so many levels of con and BS that if you wasted your time figuring it all out, I say screw that. Let's go from truth to power. I'm going to teach you the truth, and I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to pull the pin on a grenade that's going to explode in your head and give you nothing but unlimited power. Why do I want to do that? Because I want you to know the joy and the happiness that I was sitting here just listening to some music and taking stock and kind of, you know, doing my meditations for winning the lottery, which I'm doing now. This is the first year that I can say I'm really in the pocket and I actually know what I'm doing. And this has happened to me. This has been my journey all my life. I've always wanted to know how this all works. And I realized something in my spine told me there is a way to know how to work this. I'm a mechanic by trade and a technician. You know, I was a mechanic first in the military, then I was a technician in Verizon. Okay, I was a digital technician. We installed broadband equipment. We were very heavy on high tech. That's what we did. So I had to study a lot of engineering level stuff. Okay. But the military is what gave me my foundation. And that only worked because I was already a mechanical minded person. I always wanted to know how things work. And that's why I wrote this pamphlet. So each of you will understand the mechanics of this existence. And before you can understand the mechanics, you got to know how this stuff works. You got to know all the pieces and all the components and how they work, and to make the machine what it is. Got two machines going on here. You got this physical machine going on, and then you got the subconscious machine that's just making stuff. That's all it does, is make stuff. When I first wrote this piece, I said that God is a machine before I even knew about these two books. I just looked at it and I said, wow, omnipotent? That means you can make whatever you want. You know everything and you create everything. That's a machine. And I just came to the conclusion there's no way in hell that machine can have feelings. It can't. You can't be that big. Like, okay, perfect example. As above, so below, right? I said that's one of the principles. You can't break that law. It's everywhere. It's in everything, right? Perfect example. Everything I say you can validate. And I want you to validate it. Perfect example is your very being, this body you're living in. Do you feel the blood coursing through your veins? Do you feel the blood cells that are dying off? Do you feel the food that you ate breaking down, dying off, transforming from and getting broken down by the acids in your stomach that are killing the cells that exist, so you can break it down, so you can get the components out of it and get it in your bloodstream so the body parts can take what they each need? Do you feel any of that? No, you don't feel any of that. And I'm just talking about this little body here. Even though this body has unlimited, almost, it's got to be limited because you can see there's boundaries. So there is limits. This is a finite being. See this, the finger, it ends, the physical finger right here, it ends right there. That's it. It curves around and goes back the other way, and it stays, everything stays in here. So this is finite. It has you were born, and it has boundaries. It's finite physical boundaries. So it's a finite entity, component, that is comprised of trillions and trillions of activities, cells, molecules, electrons, protons, neutrons. I mean, forget about it. There's exponential numbers, trillions to the billionth power. That's how many is in here. Okay? But it's still finite. It's still finite. It's just that your brain can only talk about it in terms that, you know, your brain can understand. Okay? And it's finite. Just know that it's finite. Um okay, but in your spirit is infinite. Okay, those are the two dualities. Finite body holds an infinite spirit. That's the thing. Thoughts are not physical. They're metaphysical. They're beyond the physical. You can't touch them. You can sense them because you have a brain. Visions in your brain. You can repeat what you have seen, colors. And if you dream, you can hear sounds in your dreams. Those are sensory things, but sound is not something you can see. It's something you can sense. So that makes it metaphysical. It's beyond the physical. Okay, you have physical and you have metaphysical. There's your duality. Okay, always two. Okay, you have hot, you have cold. You have wet, you have dry. Okay? And even those are kind of furry, fuzzy. They can morph and move around and stuff. Okay? Uh, so, okay, you're learning the components. But the key thing, the components you need to know is thoughts, feelings, belief. These are three things you have to know about. The other thing you need to know about is your mind space. Now, all of our lives, we have allowed, okay, I only got 20 more minutes. I try to keep these lectures down to 1 hour. All of our lives, we have allowed thoughts to just flip-flop and haphazardly slipshod, just flow, do whatever the hell they want. And that's not your fault. But now you know, okay? And now that you know, I have to tell you, I have to pull a pin on another grenade, throw it in your ear. Let this explode and send you off into another segue into realization of how much we've been screwing up. Not your fault though. They were supposed to tell you this from the time you could understand words. They should have been symbolically as a child. They're telling you about some damn jack and a beanstalk. And maybe some symbolic, knowledge in that too. And it usually is. But, you know, uh, you should just really have been trained better. All of us should have been trained better. Okay? Excuse me. But we should have been told from birth that we need to be controlling the thoughts that are going through our head. Every time we wake up in the morning, our parents should have sat us down and said, what did you dream about? What kind of thoughts have you been having? Did you know you need to try to control your thoughts? As a young individual child, your thoughts are running, flying, you all kinds of stuff. And that's why you should never put a child in front of a television and just walk away. That is like, you might as well take them to a cliff and just go ahead and just see how far you can get. But you didn't know. They didn't even have TV when I was born. Well, at least they had it. Black people couldn't get it. Thank God. That was a blessing. We didn't even know it. You know. But now with the internet, that's a different ballgame. You know why I like the internet? Because you can pick and choose what you're going to allow to come into your sphere. Like we called it in spiritual culture, we called it your sphere of awareness. I call it your mind space. And part of your mind space, which you have to control two things. What comes in and how long it stays there. And how much you repeat it. Three things. What comes in, how long it stays there, which means you repeat it, you give it detail, you focus on it, okay? And how much you're going to repeat it. And I'm writing a whole nother book called Mind Time, and all it's going to focus on is just that topic. Thought control. And of course, it's going to morph into feelings and beliefs now that I read these two books and realized the power. I already broke down that I knew that belief is the power. I say that almost in the very first sentence or the very first paragraph of my essay. Is I knew intuitively, I have been made aware that belief ultimately is the power, is the ultimate thing that makes the universal subconscious mind create everything we see in front of us. And how are you going to get yourself to believe stuff? You have to feel it. You have to put the thoughts, you have to bring in thoughts, you have to pick the thoughts that you're going to put in and visualize. Use visualizations. Bring in the colors. Bring in the sharpness. Bring in the eyes of the pet that you want. See them playing, feel their fur, You can feel that in your imagination. Okay, you can get some tactile sensation. That's how powerful your mind is if you use it properly. But if you didn't know, you haven't built the mental muscles. You need mental muscles as well as physical. This muscles here, you need mental muscles. And that only gonna come from like going to the gym. You gotta practice. You gotta do your meditations. You gotta do your visual exercises. And they talk about that in the book. The Secret is built on that. But these two books, it's just, and it's not just these two books. When I was doing spiritual culture, when I was just 22 years old, hell, I'm 63, 62 now. I'm about to be 63. I've been doing this for 40 years. And that was the first thing they talk about in the Rosicrucians. Thought control, metaphysics. Thoughts are metaphysical. And the Rosicrucians hone right, I mean, like a laser beam. They got into that right off the bat, the first thing you're going to read. That's how important it was. They knew that. Okay? But only those who are ready can even sit still long enough to pay attention. And that's why that TV robs you of your ability to even focus. You can't even pay attention because the commercials got your brain hooked on excitement and thrills and all of this childish nonsense. All these distractions. Why do you think Africans and Indians can come to this country and run circles around our kids? They don't have televisions. Most of them don't even have power to run a television. Now they're dead meat because they have these cell phones, these smartphones, and they're going to be watching stuff all the time. So they're about to go down. They're going to be as dumb as most Americans are. Because we were born with all this distractions. Now, I'm not putting down America, but it's just fact. We got the brainwashing that's going on. The slavery that they had in America was the worst on the planet, bar none. Chattel slavery, where you were tying women to horses and ripping them in half and letting the babies drop out. You got to look at that. That's a whole new level of inhumanity to man. Man's inhumanity to man. You know why they did that? Because they want to control your brains. They want to control your mind. So they will terrorize you with horror. They even put it on television. People think it's so cute. We're studying death and murder and slaughter. Oh, look how funny. Oh, wow, look how cute. That shit ain't cute. Are you out of your mind? You're out of your mind. You don't understand the damage you're doing. So you think it's funny. See? See how when you ignorant? I could tell you stories right now. Grown people in their 80s, 90 years old, completely brainwashed. Most of the time, they can't pay attention to nothing. Some of the stuff I try to tell older people, and I might as well talk to this wall right here. Because their brains are gone. They're Teflon. Nothing sticks. And the one thing they cannot do, and this is the cardinal sin, this is the number one sin in existence, is to stop changing. The moment you stop changing, you're mentally dead. And you might as well go and just check out and get a fresh start. Kill the body, save the soul. Absolute fact. Once you can no longer change, you're done. That is the number one underlying principle of all existence. And the number one underlying principle of God. It's called evolution. Evolving. And once you stop evolving, which is growing, you're dead. Now that's serious death. It's a mental death. But the good news about all deaths is they're temporary. All deaths are temporary. That's why another thing I want to bless you with is the freedom from fear. And the greatest fear of them all is the fear of death. Because people actually believe. Here we go, that key word, when I told you about the power of belief. That's what my book is about. The power of thought and belief. People actually have bought into the complete and total brainwashing that this is the only life you're ever gonna get. And you better be good, and you better give us 10% of your money so you can go to a heaven that nobody has gone to and came back and told you, oh yeah, it exists. And anybody that tells you that they did, they're lying. Existence never goes backwards. God only moves and evolves forward. Remember, even in the Christian Bible, they tell you that. Somebody snuck a key in there. They said, God said, well, who should I tell them that you are? Just say, I am that. He didn't say when. He didn't say because. He said, I am that I am. In other words, that's like saying, I am perpetually concerned about my own existence. And if God is using you as a microcosmic spirit, you think God is going to cut itself short by only having you exist one time? Does your heart beat one as above, so below? Does your heart beat once? Does the sun only come up once? When you breathe, do you only breathe out and not in? It's a cycle. So you come into existence, you go out of existence, and what do you think is going to happen after that? You're going to come right back into existence again. God ain't got no time for your ignorance. And you're ignorant on purpose. That serves a purpose. God wanted us to be ignorant. That's part of the fun. The journey back to the realization of who you really are. What else would something that knows everything all the time, what else would you do? You will put yourself in a microcosmic thing where you know absolutely nothing. Babies are born so helpless they can't even protect themselves. They can't even wipe their own behinds. They can't even feed themselves. That's how helpless they are. So what would you do if you all important, all potent, and you know everything, you can create everything, and you're everywhere all the time? There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. What would you do? You would create the exact opposite of what I said. It always exists. 2. You know everything, you're omnipotent and you're omnipresent. What would you create? The opposite of yourself. And a child that is the combination of a subconscious spirit, microcosmic finger of God in the vehicle that grows into an adult, then slowly, gradually learns and becomes what they call self-actualized. In other words, you realize that you're God again. And once you realize that, oh well, by the time you finally realize that, the body's damn near, well, some people get lucky and they find out early. But part of that luck is that they realize the power that comes from realizing you're God. But remember, what is the characteristics of God? Omnipotent, which means can create anything it wants. What do they say the microcosmic spirit does? With the use of thoughts, feelings, and belief. What are you doing? You're creating existence itself. That task, that power, that authority was given you at birth. And your spirit is infinite. It cannot die. It uses vehicles, and the moment this vehicle fails, it's cast aside just like a leaf on a tree. It just falls off and goes and morph and becomes something else, gets broken down. It's because of physical finite being. And it just, like they said, matter can never be destroyed. All it does is get transformed. So even this vehicle is not going to be destroyed. It's going to break down and be transformed back into the soil. That's where it said, man, from dust to dust. That's what, yeah, that's symbolic of what that means. Okay, it's not you, but stop saying man. The vehicle, yeah. But you see, if I don't give you the rest of the definition, then you get confused and you go off with a half a thought. And you say, oh, Jesus, I'm going to die. And I'm going to become, the maggots are going to eat me and the flies are going to eat me. No, not eat. They're eating your car. You got out the car and you gone. You left the car. It's rusting somewhere. And rusting is a part of the breakdown process to clean it out and clean the environment. We don't want you in here polluting stuff. So you got to have the maggots and the flies come in and lay the maggots on it, and they eat their flesh, and the what do you call those buzzards come in and they pick you, and the hyenas and all that stuff, and they get rid of the vehicle. They break it on down. Okay, so the environment stay clean. That's part of the process for your vehicle, not you, because you're gone. You're being born somewhere else. Like that, they say in a twinkling of an eye. And I have a graphic that I created, animated graphic that shows the cycle. You come into existence at birth, you go through form, all right? You reach maturity, you come and you go out of form, and they talk about it in the book. I forget who the author is that talks about it. I think Hagelin. Last name is Hagelin. He says matter can neither be created or destroyed. All it does is it can be transformed. In the movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Keanu Reeves told um, Will Smith's young son, who was playing character in the movie, he tried to get the alien to, he saw the alien bring a cop back to life, so he thought he could take the alien to where his father was buried, and the alien could bring his father back to life. And the alien just had pity on him. He said, oh, you think I can? He said, no, there's something I cannot do. If the vehicle's been dead for so long and the spirit is gone, I can't repair the vehicle if the spirit has already left. And for a long period of time, he didn't go through all that. But he told him, don't feel bad. Don't worry. He's not really dead. He's, the spirit, nothing, he says, nothing ever really dies. Everything is just transformed. So again, they're pulling the pin and they're dropping a grenade in your head. And sometimes they go off and you don't even know. You don't have the chops to even understand what the hell the man is saying. Because you're spiritually, you may not have been born enough times that your spirit is even mature enough to understand that, to have the intuitive vocabulary to understand what he just said. And that's what I'm trying to teach you now. What he just said is what I've been saying about the microcosmic spirit and about spirit, period. Cannot die. So stop all this foolishness with being concerned about death. That's how in the Haitian Revolution, those folks, they already conquered death. They weren't afraid to die. That's how they were able to take out all them folks that were enslaving them. I'll be back. That's what you got to get your head around. You just got to get your head around that. I'm sorry. And once you do, you'll be free like I am. You'll know the joy and the happiness and the blessings that you have all around you all the time. You'll be far more optimistic because you'll know you have real power and you know you can never die. And you'll use this knowledge to make your life better and everybody else around you. That's what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And if she ain't supposed to have to pay no 10% of your tithing to get this knowledge. You're not supposed to have to go to some seminary college to learn this stuff. This is what I call basic human rights, like healthcare and education. This is education. Hell, if you don't know about what is it? To thine own, it say to gain power. What do you have to know? The first thing you have to know is know thyself. And I'm sure you all have heard this. Now you know what it means. You don't know who you are. Now you do. I've dropped some seeds on you. Have an idea. I've given you the idea. Now you got to spend the rest of your life validating this stuff. That's what I want you to do. And in between, the reason why I want you to hit the lottery and have all the money you want, because I want you to be free from all that foolishness and nonsense that everybody should have food, water, shelter, health care, and education. Free. Shouldn't have to pay for it. The reason they make you pay for it is because they're trying to slow down population growth. They don't want you eating up all the resources on the planet because they want it for themselves. They're greedy. But you need these greedy people so you know what good is. So we got to strike a balance. We don't want to wipe them out. That's not balance. Balance doesn't say you go and kill or everything that you don't agree with. That's not balance. That's not homeopathy. That's not righteousness. Don't get me wrong. See, righteousness loves all people and use money. That's my motto. Love people first. Always. All people. I don't give a damn what color they are. That's another con job. Take care of people first and use the hell out of money. Because money, they ain't nothing but a number that keeps going up. And if you're not using money to feed people and house people and educate people and clothe people, then you don't know what money's all about. And you don't deserve a penny that you have. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't be. I'm not going to make any judgments. But I just know that karmic law kind of works out that way. What goes around comes around. Okay? Recap. God is two. The subconscious machine that creates everything, and you, the microcosmic being that gives thought, that the machine that creates everything uses thoughts, feelings, and belief. Once you believe it, as a man soweth, so shall he reap. Right? We've heard that, right? So sow thoughts with feelings into beliefs, and the beliefs gets the machine hears the beliefs, and it gets to work, and it instantaneously, like that, it creates it. Don't ask no questions. I don't care whether it's right or wrong, good, bad. If you believe it and you keep repeating it, the machine gets to work and it starts making it. So everything that happens wrong to you ain't nobody's fault but yours. Sorry, I hate to drop that grenade on you too, but it's the facts. You see, this machine does not play, and you got to understand that. If I don't make anything important clear to you, I want you to understand that the subconscious mind, which is within you, it does not play. It's not personal. Don't play games. And it creates things instantaneously based on how much you believe what you are thinking and feeling. It's going to create them things right away. Okay? So, watch your thoughts. Watch what you're feeling. And absolutely control every thought that comes to your mind. You won't be able to do it right away. You're not going to. You may not hit the lottery big right away, but according to what we talked, what Eddie Coronado talks about, I totally agree with him. You don't do it right away. Little steps, little by little. Same way controlling your mind. You start by thinking about what you are and what you already have. If you want to be a millionaire, already get into the role, play the role, become an actor, become a performer, and keep performing that act till it's what they call it. It's, you don't even have to think about it no more. It's like walking. When you first learned how to walk, you had to make effort to walk, but you don't think about it now. You just get up and walk. All them that muscle learning, that your muscles have learned what to do, and you just get up and walk. Well, that's what it's got to be with seeing yourself as a millionaire. You got to do it to the point where you don't even hardly have to think about it anymore. You feel it. You just feel it, and you believe it. Say, oh wow, oh man, it's great to be a millionaire. When you get up in the morning, you get up and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna go get the key fob to my Model X Tesla, because I'm an all electric car guy. I want Teslas for days. I want a battery backup system. I want solar panels on the roof. I want solar panels out in the field. Okay, we're going to put that to bed. Get rid of this oil and all this stuff, wrecking the planet and whatnot. Get rid of that. That's how we going to roll. Okay? That's what I see in the morning when I get up in the morning. I get up and have my meditations. I got my millionaire statements going. I recorded my own voice. I got my music going. I got my I call them big houses. These are luxury homes, modern, because I like modern. And I have hundreds of photos playing a slideshow on a big 55-inch plasma, and I just sit there and I visualize and I meditate and I dream and see myself there, sitting in the living room, playing with my pets that I have already. 2 dogs, 2 cats, okay, and maybe a parrot and a couple of parakeets. My family is there. We're in the gym. The pool is off to the right. We pull in the Teslas. I got Archimotos. I got details, more details. And I've been doing this realistically for the last year or so. And I've had little doubts, and I think that's why I haven't had any successful hits. And I've been really trying to grab too big of a chunk. And I just learned this today from reading this book. You have to go settle for small wins and be extremely grateful for that. And I was sitting here being grateful today, gratitude, and it emotionally got to me. And I was in here in tears because I was so grateful for all the blessings that I have. The blessing of being able to sit here and have this. The first blessing that brings me to tears more than anything else is that I was blessed to realize who and what I am. The liberation that comes from that, the stress that disappears, the fear of not worrying about going to hell or some stupid heaven somewhere. Do you know how liberating that is? To realize that none of that stuff exists and that everything that happens to you is based on you controlling your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs. Do you know how much power that is? And just to realize that people go through their whole lives and they never know even close to that. So if I'm telling you this stuff and you're aware of it, you are blessed beyond, forget about it. What a time we live in, and we don't go backwards. And you know that. How liberating is that for you? How much joy and happiness should that make for you and your family and your people that you love and care about? That's powerful stuff. Knowledge is power. When you take it in and sit back and just do the basic logical flow. If this is true, then this is possible. If this is possible, then I can do this, this, and that. And if I can do this, this, and that, then I can do this, this, that, and this other thing too. And now you are so far away from where you were, drowning in doubt and fear and ignorance, that you're now in a position of confidence and awareness And freedom and liberation and joy, right? What has to come with that is joy. And then now you believe it because now you can feel it. You know it's right. You can feel it's right. When things are right, it has a feeling. It has a sound. You know it. You're gonna feel it because that's who you already are. It's like, wow. And when you realize, you say, oh, you feel like you always knew this. I wonder why. Because you have always been this. You put yourself here in this position so you would not know. And in order to make the journey, that's my belief. And this is what makes it all fun. Because once you realize you can never die, it's like, wow. Okay, I'm back to knowing everything already. Okay, it's time to get rid of this body and start this process over again. You almost don't even care because now you know. And it's heavy. It depends on how much you can get your head around. And now me, I can go right up into, I'm an Aquarian. We go right to bottom line. We go right to the God level. I have no fear, no doubt at all. Now I feel sorry for any of y'all that can't do this. Because you are living in terror. And it's all for nothing. All right, get your head around it. I hope it's been helpful. And we'll pick it up on the next movie. Take care, family.